Okay, chat, I've done the unspeakable. I have gone on the internet and I have downloaded a Magic the Gathering deck. Please do not report me to the authorities. I promise you we will put our stolen property to good use. This is a Mardu deck that did well in a random miscellaneous tournament. It's just a collection of like pretty good, individually good Magic the Gathering cards. Fable the Mirror Breaker, Wedding Announcement, Emperor, Vanishing Verse, Bloodtithe Harvester, Valki, Lolth, Meathook. One thing that I am interested to see in this deck is we don't have that many things for reflection of the Kiki-Jiki to copy, so I'm interested to see if that feels good or not. Someone commenting on Luminarch plus Meathook. Luminarch is actually really good with Meathook Massacre because it grows itself up out of range. So if it survives, you have this big giant threat, and you could just like Meathook for less than your Aspirant is large. So like actually pretty reasonable synergy between those two, in addition to both of them just being good Magic cards. So let's go ahead and pop on into some matches and see if our pile of mid-range cards has what it takes to feel competitive in this format, or if we're just going to get run out. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention, we were showing off the Every Plate box. As a special part of the promo that's running through the end of the month, if you sign up for Every Plate to get yourself some delicious meals using my link, you can also submit a deck to be played on stream to the deck queue. The lowest cost box from them using my link is actually only $25, so it's actually cheaper to sign up and check out Every Plate to submit a deck to the queue than it is to just submit a deck directly. That does only apply to people in the US, though. Apologies to our viewers in other countries. We're not playing Goldspan Dragon, but we do have Aspirant, which is a card that's nerfed in Alchemy. So we are adhering to my rule of play cards that were nerfed. Hopefully this game will be quite humiliating for our opponent. Thanks for the follow, Real Mike. Yeah, we gotta humiliate these Goldspan Dragons, Chip. How's Standard been? The current Standard format is the best constructed format Magic has had since Fire Design happened, in my opinion. It's super reasonable and, dare I say, even good. Alchemy is also pretty reasonable right now, too. I notably do not think Historic is very good at the moment, but that's also subjective, and there's also people that like it. So, I don't know how much you've been following Alchemy, John, but the addition of the mono green deck to the format has opened up a good bit of diversity, because the mono green deck is good into the black red deck, and there are lots of things that are good into the mono green deck. Better than Guilds of Ravnica. No, Guilds of Ravnica was before Fire Design. Fire Design started with War of the Spark Chat. Let's Protector Shield here against Lorehold Command and Magma Opus. Sounds decent. Does combo control count, Dream? If you like combo control, check out the Jeskai deck on my YouTube channel we played yesterday. As always, things are well organized around here, and you can answer a lot of your questions for yourself. Cheesy pastries. Good to still have you around. Glad you're enjoying the YouTube stuff. The Discord is S tier, of course. Welcome back. Long live Dale. Thanks for dropping off the Prime. So I don't have decks up on my website anymore, but the YouTube channel is well organized as always. This combo-y matchup might be pretty hard for us, and we even hit 2 discard spells this game. We might need to restructure some of the answers in this deck because of this combo-y deck rising to prevalence. That's unfortunate. This is only land number 5, which means when I play land number 6, I can only play one of these next turn. There's also deck lists in the video descriptions on my YouTube channel, Mad C. And the YouTube channel saves you the hassle of having to weed out which decks weren't worth looking at for yourself, because they just don't get posted there. So I didn't say decks that are only optimal get posted on the YouTube channel. I said decks that aren't worth playing. So my YouTube channel is far from all spiky decks, but there are some decks that are just bad enough that just like they aren't fun because you literally won't win games with them. Or just not functional. We occasionally get paid to play non-functional things. Do we either have Wandering Emperor or Wedding Announcement here? I don't know how long it's been since you've been away, Drew McCrema, but I actually don't do that many donation decks anymore. I raised the base price donation decks to $50, so I only get a handful of them a month now. And that's intentional. It's by design. Casting the second spell here does allow this to flip back today.
Guards, to me.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember how long ago the D&D set was. It was last summer. Okay.
See you later.
Half a pandemic ago. It's a touch unfortunate. guess I should have powered that up to play around the red removal. We could get combo killed next turn by this Goldspan Dragon in a worst case scenario. They're playing the deck that we played yesterday. Dear opponent, please don't kill me. Survey says... Oh, you think with Opus they're just a Hinata deck? Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that's what the Lorehold command means too, right? So they're not playing the combo deck like we played yesterday. That's a good shout. Hey, Braveheart, thanks for the 28 months. Welcome back. Yeah, that's a really good shout. Piece of candy.
That I may see that we will slay our enemies.
Just throw our friends at their face, right? They probably have some kind of interaction here, but if another Lorehold command, they could get us a little bit. Opponent. Inviction. Thanks for the 18 months. Welcome back. Appreciate it. They were trying to figure out how to Opus through the shield. That makes sense. Yeah, well, I mean, not only were they interfacing, but they were also trying to count the Magma Opus with the cost reduction through... That makes sense. That was a actually difficult thing to calculate and then more tedious to click through. Just take our 6, right? Say, mates. Thanks for the third of the year. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Also, our opponents literally drawn all 4 Goldspan Dragons in, what, there's 17 cards into their deck here? Never lucky chat. Cycle this land with our blood token, see what we get. Oh, do I get to attack? They block these 2, they die. Obviously, they have 2 cards in hand and a bunch of mana. We're also not dead on the backswing, though, so let's see what happens. If they block 2, they then have to interact with 2 others to stay alive. All right, they're blocking these, and then that would imply that they have interaction for 2 more, huh? They have like 2 Fading Hopes. Oh, they could have Lorehold Command. Could gain them, Lorehold Command could gain them 3, right? All right, this is the first piece of interaction. And they have Fading Hope as the last card. They go to 1. Otherwise, they gotta deal 6. Man, brutal. Am I dead on the backswing now? I'm not because I have a blocker, right? So they're going. They topped a card, so I assume we're dead. Oh man. They topped that very quickly, so I assume we are about to die. They haven't snap killed me. This is another Magma Opus? It's gotta be Magma Opus, right? With how long they're taking for this to happen? And we're not dead to this attack because the shield means we're only taking 9. Even a braid? Sure. I don't understand. I guess I have a card in my hand. I don't understand why that took so long to kill us there, but the card in my hand technically changes things a little bit, I suppose. Ray of Enfeeblement seems potentially good. Showdown for some grind seems good. Rip Apart and Meathook don't seem particularly impactful. Vanishing Verse tags the dragon, but not their cost reducer. This tags the cost reducer, but not the dragon. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Do I want Duress? My discard spell not tagging their dragon feels real bad. Maybe is the format with these combo decks being based around Goldspan Dragon and stuff? Oh, they're a Hednata deck, so I probably want the Rays of Enfeeblement. With Goldspan Dragon being a kind of key enabler in these decks, is it possible that these should just be checked for traps? Yeah, maybe they should be checked for traps. Thanks for the follow, Sarit Freed. Chat, if you're worried about Goldspan Dragon taking over the format, go play the other Magic format where they rebalance problem cards. If you're playing Standard on Magic Arena, you're signing up to play against things that should not exist. Sorry. It's the reality we live in. You should accept that Standard's just gonna have more busted things in it. Just the nature of the beast. The opponent's deck is like, for what it's worth, it's also kind of a thing around the fringes of alchemy too. The opponent's deck isn't even really leveraging. Yeah, I agree, Presserbake. Standard being like more busted than alchemy is a good thing. Completely agree. Technically missed a point of damage with my sequencing here, but you all are wrong. Every format is terrible. A Cyberpunk expansion has been announced. Neat. Honestly, though, hearing that probably means I'll just wait even longer to play Cyberpunk. I have that on my list of things to play eventually, and that'll probably mean I just push it down towards the bottom. Wait for that to release. Yeah, the base Cyberpunk game is in a really good spot if you're someone that's been waiting to play it, is my understanding. Yeah, Cyberpunk released their 1.5 version, so if you're someone who was waiting for them to iron out the bugs, I've heard nothing but good things about the latest iteration. I've got a bunch of different story games in my backlog to play those, so I'm not really in a rush to get to it, so if they're gonna plan a big DLC, I'll probably wait for that to happen. Okay, so the second Ray of Enfeeblement's actually a really good draw here, because it means I get to do this, and then when they use a 1 mana card to try and protect this, we get to kill it again. And then we attack them for 9, or for 6. Sorry, math. Quick maths. What kind of game is No Man's Sky, chat? I've heard things about it, but I haven't actually Googled it. Is it a story game? Is it an MMO? It's a Minecraft style game. Okay. Subnautica in space. Okay, that's a good one to, let me say, survival, Minecraft, Subnautica. Got it. Okay, not my cup of tea. I'm glad other people have fun with it, but that's definitely not my style. Hey, what's going on, Sir T-Freed? Niv Mizzet, been a hot second. It's a name I haven't heard in some time. Okay, and then this Reidane makes the rest of their hand pretty awkward. All right, attempt to dead you. This is lethal on its own too at the wedding festivities. Oh, you know what? I didn't board in Go Blanks for game 2. There should probably be Go Blanks in my deck, huh? What do I trim from this pile of cards to fit Go Blanks in? And it gets Valki. Yeah, Verse is only good against Dragon. Like, I don't know. We kind of... Do we think we always win the game by beating them down? Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe the grind from this is just ambitious and bad. I'd buy that for $1. Silent, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. the 3rd. Gotta mulligan that one, unfortunately. This is fine. Not particularly fast, but we don't actually have that many particularly fast hands if you step back and think about it. Start whittling away at their hand here, and Nana can come down as soon as next turn. We don't currently have an answer for it. We're definitely gonna swap our duresses for check for traps after this match, though. Definitely want more discard spells that can tag Goldspan Dragon with the direction the format is potentially headed in. Just, I don't have any plays. Very unlucky, your turn, opponent. Hey, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Great to see over 600 people in here for some magic. If you're new to the channel like Libby and Silence, welcome. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. We play a ton of different games on this channel, but Magic the Gathering is the one we play for a few hours every late morning into early afternoon like this. Also play a bunch of Pokemon Unite. We're going to be playing some viewer open lobbies with that this afternoon, and then we play some single-player story-driven games as well. Currently playing through the Tomb Raider reboot series. I think we respond to this Goldspan Dragon with Wandering Emperor here, because once the Goldspan Dragon comes into play, this is going to make 2 mana, and they'll be able to negate my Wandering Emperor, which I prefer not happen. And now, if they elect to attack with this, we'll Wandering Emperor down ticket. This does get blown out a little bit by if they have Dragonfire in hand, because they could Dragonfire her off this treasure before they attack. I think this is fine.
Let your blade do.
Hopefully we draw untapped land next turn, so we can go blank into Vanishing Verse on this Goldspan would be ideal. Oh, Humiliate works just as well. Now we can spot check for a negate before we try and remove the Goldspan. Now, naturally, we're about to see 3 counter spells and just be in a very sad place, but it is what it is. Well, shit. Well, like, little bit of good news, little bit of bad news. They do have more than 1 counter spell, but they're soft counters. So we get to go ahead and throw a counter on here and attack them, and then we can Vanishing Verse this next turn, but our Wandering Emperor is going to die here. My opponent has 9 minutes left on their clock, chat. We have 22 minutes left on ours. Hinata actually means I need to draw an untapped land in order to Vanishing Verse the Goldspan through double disruption now. Yeah.
Years of training for this.
Well, this means I get to deal with the other disruption next turn, so. Obviously, we know we're walking into a disruption here. My body is ready to get stuffed by this face down card. They're just like have arbitrary amounts of mana, so like something's gonna get disruptioned at some point. It might as well be this aspirant now. Let's just run into it. Suli, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. If it was another Goldspan, they would have cast it last turn, right? Oh, that's interesting. So does that mean this last card's a protection spell? Or are they just playing it in case we have an aspirant? I'd offer this trade. I think them being on empty here is good. Sir, can you have a brick? Sometimes lucky. This game, I do think I still want to swap in check for traps here. Not just because of this Hinata deck, but also because there's other Goldspan Dragon decks running around. I think that discard spell is probably in a pretty good spot in the format for things you want to be discarding. Honestly, we might have enough white in our mana base too that maybe we just play the full set of Humiliates. And then like we play a check for trap as the 5th discard spell. Does that sound good? We have like a decent number of cheap creatures. How do we feel about just playing the full set of Humiliates? I think I kind of like it. Historic is still a bunch of cat ovens, so I don't really play it, but both Standard and Alchemy are pretty good, Grand Friend. How do we feel about Rip Apart? I kind of want more Bloodtithe Harvester. It, like, plays well with this, and it's more creatures to, like, throw counters on early. Are there particular artifacts or enchantments in this format we really care about? Runes isn't super popular, and Vanishing Verse is pretty good in that matchup already. Hey, JRC, thanks for the sub-gift. That's super generous of you. Let's do that. Make that swap. Play more 4 of Averted cards. Thanks, Sully. Yeah, I've resisted responding to Crashy stuff for a long while, but I probably honestly shouldn't have responded to his thing. The dude's obviously a good player, but it feels like he needs to take a bit of a break from Unite if he's not happy with it. Welcome to Hoaglandia. We're gonna be playing this deck for another hour or so, and then we're actually gonna wrap up on some Unite. Yeah, sometimes I fail and I feed the trolls. They're so hungry. They feel like they deserve food on occasion. Juan, thanks for the 16 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I wonder if I was supposed to just Vanishing Verse their wedding announcement. It's a pretty good 1-2 combo. Huh? I really need 3rd black. So I don't need 3rd white either. I think I'm gonna verse the wedding announcement here. And then we'll play out this other Bloodtithe Harvester, and this can kill the Welcoming Vampire potentially next turn. Believe it or not, John, I already had a number of comments from people that I can't possibly disagree with Crashy. In actuality, I'm only doing it because I'm a shill for the Pokemon Company. Because they had me cast some of their tournaments. It's a good time. The games will change, but sometimes some things will stay the same. Hey, thanks for the bribe, Jojo. Appreciate the over 3 years. Well, so technically my money comes from a third-party contractor, but the Pokemon Company does approve the people that they pick to cast. And I know for a fact that part of the reason I've been asked back to do more Unite events is because the Pokemon Company is happy with the work that I've done. Okay, so this announcement's gonna pop off and make our things 2/2s, and then we could Meathook for 1 next turn, potentially, and we get to Emperor this turn. Confirmed chill. It's really funny just how, in a sad sort of way, how things just repeat through every gaming community, whether it's Magic, or Pokemon Unite, or Runeterra, or League of Legends. Like, the people that play the game always think that the company that makes the game is full of idiots that don't know how to manage their game. It's like, what if I told you they actually know what they're doing and you just don't have all the pieces of the puzzle that they have?
I'm going to end it.
What if? That can't be true because I have such a huge braid.
We must protect the people.
Well, that's a good top deck. Sometimes lucky. Come on, block my 2/2. My card in my hand is random. Could it possibly be a Wandering Emperor to blow you out? Miss Queen Rotom, thanks for the follow. What are we blocking? Oh, we're blocking my 3/3. This is even better.
I'm home. I have got new moves to teach you.
Yeah, for sure, Twitch chat. Vocal minorities are a tough thing. I honestly don't envy game devs, right? Like, having to sift through vocal minorities and figure out when they're right and when they're not, when there's actual issues. Like, there's like, the actual people that make these games have access to so much more data and information than we have at home. It's far, far easier for them to make informed decisions. And it's also very easy for, like, their decisions they're making that are actually informed by data to look like they don't make sense from the outside because they're not sharing everything. And you could definitely argue that, okay, well, they should be more transparent with their information, but that's kind of just a problem with most of the games industry, right? I wish the company that makes my game would communicate with the players more is a very frequently had feeling by players, regardless of the game as well. And I honestly don't blame players for that too. In general, game companies talking with their communities more, I think would be a net positive. Whether it's Wizards or Pokemon Unite or whoever else. I also understand why from the business side though that they don't. Talking to your community more can get you into trouble. Yeah, I've actually I did some sponsored segments for Mythgard a number of times over the years. I heard they got, because they were gonna close their doors and they got picked up by another company. I'm interested to see what the people that picked them up are gonna be able to do with the property. Yeah, that's part of it. So some of the reason why companies don't communicate more with their player base is they don't want to communicate things that give them an edge in the games industry that they feel. But another reason too is it's difficult to get yourself in trouble for something that you said if you don't say anything, right? And like, we were talking about Cyberpunk 2077 earlier because they finally had like a pretty good release point for their game. And that's a good example of communicating can get you into trouble, right? Like a lot of the pushback around Cyberpunk happened because it got pushed back, and then it released in a really buggy state. Well, part of the reason it finally got released in a buggy state was because there was pressure from their community to say, hey, you've already pushed this back a ton of times. We want it to be released already. And they were kind of in a damned if they do, damned if they don't situation. They push back the release again, and they have people complain that the release is pushed back, or they do what they did, and they release a buggy mess, and then people complain that it's a buggy mess. All right, so what is this opponent doing? They're pretty mid-rangey. They've got some welcoming vampires and some aspirants, but they've also got some Sorins. They've got a lot of spells, so I don't think they're a Storm the Festival deck. This is a Ray of Enfeeblement matchup is one of the questions that comes to my mind. I think it might be. Reidane to make their Sorins cross moral, so it has some appeal, and it's just like a fine blocker. Showdown to grind perhaps could be good. I think I want to trim my Humiliates. I want more cards that play to the board. I think Valki's... It's a tough call. Is Valki too slow for this matchup? I think Showdown's probably just better grind than this. It's a little bit less expensive. There's a chance the Valki in general are a little ambitious in this deck, and perhaps there should just be more Showdowns main. I want some Rays. I don't know if this is a 4-Ray matchup. I have Vanishing Verse to tag a lot of their stuff too, so I don't want to overload on the removal spells, I don't think. Yeah, that's true. This card definitely has big take over the game potential. Fable of the Kiki-Jiki probably has a hard time attacking in. Maybe I cut these and we just like put in the other Ray and we leave these at the top. I don't hate the look of this. Yeah, I mean that's true, Beetle, but like a book can't be patched after the fact. Yes, the Magic Arena mobile client is, let's say it's heavy. Heavy is a good word. Yeah, I agree, Kendall. I think the digital card game space is really kind of fragged at this point in terms of, like, how dense it is. Like, if Riot Games can't successfully push into the digital card game space, I would be surprised if more niche game can. We just take the wedding announcement out here. Dappos, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. Four mana and no plays, chat. Unlucky. Whenever I play Arena on my phone, I'm worried the plastic case is gonna melt.
I'm not overconfident. You're just underwhelmed. Our swords
this.
will cross that bridge. Guards, to me.
Every plate pasta is so hot, chat, it's fogging up my glasses. Shoutouts to my lovely wife, Christy, for doing the prep work. All right, chat. There's fear in my dojo. I'm not blocking this 1/1 here. They have another Emperor. If they pass, they have another Emperor. Rude. Okay. All right, we've been played a little bit here. Shame we didn't draw a 5th land to be able to double spell this turn. I'm gonna get to do this for 3. So this way, if they have an Emperor, they can't plus her to save the 2/2. They might just have nothing and been bluffing on that attack, which would be masterful.
I am the Emperor from dawn, and may your blade strike true.
That's brutal. I have not dropped any frames on my end. Anybody else having Twitch buffering issues?
Do the talking.
Okay, Reidane's a great draw. I'll go ahead and clean this out and then cast this.
Still have much to learn.
Perfect. Can maybe catch us back up. Gonna take a little time here. Lolth probably seals it. The go blank out of them was super good.
Subservience will be a reward. Oh yes, I know the knowledge you seek.
We play all ranked when we play Unite on stream, pretty much.
And I, the generous one.
Normally, I play solos, duos, or trios on my main account, which is about 2100 MMR, sometimes 2200 if I'm having a good run. Today, 1 day a week, I do open lobby viewer games though. So we'll do trios on my Smurf account with people that are watching the stream for the last couple hours of the stream today. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. The go blank was just really good, and they honestly, the opponent played super well with their second Wandering Emperor. They played around my second Vanishing Verse superbly. Yeah, that was another funny. Someone in one of Crashy's comments commented that people that 5-stack will never understand solo queue. It's like, I mostly play non-5 stacks. I like the variance and randomness element that having random teammates adds to the game. Gives it more variety. It's not like card games in a way. Card games are fun because they have a random element to them. That random element can occasionally be frustrating, but it also keeps the game more fresh and interesting. Hey. All right, so I want to split my counters up here. Because ideally, I want to keep both of these out of Meathook Massacre range. So, I could hit them for 4, but then they could Meathook for 1 this Aspirant next turn, and that would not be ideal. Nice duress. Yeah, we'll be doing trios. So every match, I'll have the lobby code up on screen. We'll let two people jump in from chat to play. We'll rotate through folks that want to play in ranked. So you'll need to be at least veteran because my Smurf is Masters as well, but it's lower MMR. I think it's like 13 or 1400 because I only play on it once per week. A 4th land. We're in a pretty good spot to be aggressive here. We're missing the second red to deploy this, but I think we hold on to this this 4th land here so we can get Hive with the Eye Tyrant going. Okay, I'm actually gonna play this out even though they know about this land because I want the second red for down the line. This could be an Emperor turn. If they have Emperor, Exile, Hive, untap, Meathook for 3, I'm in trouble. Yeah, I'm supposed to put the counter on the Bloodtithe Harvester. Make my creature land less appealing to get rid of. This could be a mistake what I did here. It could also be right to put the counter on here to continue to play around Meathook like I talked about. Yeah. I think I messed this turn up. Opponent's series of cards pretty good here, but I think I could have played around them a bit better.
I have got new moves to teach you.
We're not completely dead at this point. I've got 3 Showdown of the Skalds and a couple of Valkis in my deck. We'll see how quickly our opponent's able to build up a board here. We probably got like another draw step or 2. Vampire's pretty good with Emperor. Yeah, the opponent's build looks sweet, and they're rank 320 with it, so obviously doing pretty well.
May your blades
Pick it up what they're putting down. Alright, on to the next one. This looks fine. It's a white land to start. I think I just lead on my threat here. Because these Humiliates get better if I have a creature in play to put a counter on. I think with the Fable draw and no 4th land, we want to wait to Humiliate till next turn. Just be resource efficient this turn. Yeah, that's fine. And we started combat before we played this, so that way, if they had a removal spell like this, they had to play it before they knew what our follow-up play was. Green, white, A. Hopefully we draw a black source this turn so we can double Humiliate. Hopefully I don't live to regret cycling the Meathook. Nice, okay. And now, if I don't feel like I need to play the second Humiliate right away, the treasure token from this Goblin can let us play Wedding Announcement this turn. Let's take a peekaboo at what they have going on. They could have another removal spell. Let's take Caretaker here, I think. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and attack for 3, get our treasure token, and drop the Wedding Announcement, because I don't have anything, like, in the immediate short term that I need to get rid of. Well, they need to learn how to train their savior before they can get anything back or exile anything. Yeah, the opponent's deck is not established archetype in the format. That is, that's quite the monster, chip. Attack with both of these, get a treasure token. Winning announcement's gonna draw us a card now. Not the Vanishing Verse I wanted for Christmas, but it's a different card than Exile. So this only happens when it trains, so it needs to attack with something else here. Well, opponent having a little bit of an awkward wrong half problem here. They've got these cards that like want to be modified, and they don't have anything that lets them modify them currently. So I elected not to attack with my 2/2 because it made my combat trick a little bit less obvious here. So now they blocked, and I get to go ahead and eat their thing. Draw a card with our winning announcement. That's really good. Hey, J Wolf Gaming, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon.
I would run if I were you.
Alright, it's a good pickup. They have some smaller white creatures. Our Vanishing Verses are just kind of absurd here. The way their things get modified, Meathook Massacre might not be particularly good here. They kind of like grow their things up larger. They don't really look like they have expensive non-creature spells, so Reidane's a little bit lackluster. I think these Ray of Enfeeblements might be fine. Having a way to take Savior off the board is going to be pretty important on occasion, I think. Rip Apart seems good too, actually. Let's go to 2 Rays. Arts and Witchcraft, thanks for re-upping that Prime. I wouldn't be able to be here without folks like you, so thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way again this month. Appreciate it. Oh, I didn't realize that. When you click on emotes to put them into your chat, they show up in your chat before you hit send. That's sick. Why is Emperor so good? It just does a lot. It has a lot of utility. So it can be a combat trick, it can be a removal spell, it can generate you board presence with the 2/2s. None of its individual abilities are anything to like write home about, but the sum of its parts is very good. Cards are more than any just individual line. You gotta look at them as they work as a whole. Opponent kept the 1-lander. What's going on, Grassman? Thanks for the follow. Alright, we're gonna play another match or two with this deck. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick though. Beer. Eternal and Ico, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. I'm gonna play this deck for another half hour or so, and then we're gonna swap over to some Pokemon Unite. If you're someone that plays Unite, we're gonna be doing open viewer lobbies ranked trios. So if you're at least veteran, you can queue up and battle with me today. I'll be doing that for the last couple hours of the stream. Fair warning, if you intend to play with us, when I play on my secondary account that's a little bit lower ranked, you're going to have to try and carry me playing things like Cramorant, Trevenant, and others. We play the, let's call them more fun characters that I don't frequently play on my main. Hey, Mommy Makeout, thank you for the 2 entire years. Welcome back. Cramorant is low-key my guilty pleasure Pokemon at the moment. I actually played a couple of Cramorant games on my main the other night when I was playing off stream. I love that derpy little bird. Surf and Whirlpool are a lot of fun. Or Whirlwind, whatever it's called. Hurricane, the one that throws them up in the air. Yeah, my main account is about 21 to 2200. I think I signed off at like 2150 yesterday or so. Contrary to popular belief with people that complain about matchmaking, there is actually a marked difference playing on my 2100 account versus playing on my 13 to 1400 account. The types of games that you play are notably different. When my wife and I play off stream in the evenings on occasion, I play on the other account. It's a very different experience than duos on the other one. Well, that's why I actually think I found there's a lot of overlap between MOBA players and card game players, and I think the big reason for that is the thing that's true about both MOBAs and card games is if you look for it, there's always a reason that you lost a game other than you made a mistake. I can blame not drawing my 4th land. I can blame my teammate not showing up for Dreadnought. It is easier to carry games as a strong player at lower MMRs, Riva. In my anecdotal experience. Yes, yeah, that's actually true, Archivist. Low variance games are gambling is fun, chat. Variance is fun. Not this particular variance here that I'm experiencing. This is a little bit of salty variance if we're being honest with ourselves, but in general, variance is a positive. All right, so it's actually the same person we queued into last time. I think we're gonna board the same way. We're gonna kind of pull up here. Yeah, and I think, honestly, Wolf, I think the thing that a lot of people that complain about solo queues often miss is that, like, for every person that does something silly on your team, there's going to be lots of other games where the people doing silly things are on the opponent's team as well. And if you're actually someone who's really good at the game, you're going to be able to carry and win a majority of those games where there's people are doing silly things. You can make a delta. And while it's definitely going to be true, there's going to be some games where none of your decisions mattered and you're just not going to win. Those games tend to be few and far between. Even if they're like, you know, 1 in 10, or even you want to be really high, say 1 in 5. That's still a big difference than every game. Unfortunately, this land is tapped, so can't play Bloodtithe Harvester out here proactively. Punished for not bolting this in. Was hoping they'd play like an Aspirant so I could Ray of Enfeeblement there. I think I'm land past now, because if they level this Ranger class, I want to verse it. Yeah, I think the current standard format is super reasonable, GR. I think it's the best standard has been since Magic moved to fire design principles. Okay, and with Sparring Regiment and Rangers class here, I think my new goal now becomes to just starve them of things they can modify, as opposed to trying to remove their things that modify, or do the modifying. This is a play Wandering Emperor angle. I need to get some pressure going. So if I'm just like killing their stuff but not attacking them while I'm killing their stuff, we're not really accomplishing anything. We are in fact no longer clueless.
I'm home.
This feels like one of those cards that's super close to playable. I wouldn't be surprised if this got a buff and an alchemy patch at some point and became a card that we see regularly. Rip Apart's a great draw because now if they have a protection spell here, I can Vanishing Verse in response to the protection spell. Not only is Wandering Emperor good, but just the design of this Planeswalker is so fantastic. I really feel like they leveled up their Planeswalker design in the last, like, half a year and change. They've done such a superb job of creating interesting Planeswalker designs. We just had so many, like, cookie cutter ones for a long time, and it feels good that there's a lot of variety in them now. I'm also a sucker for a good flash card, though, so I'm a little biased. Ooh, Chariot. Chariot copying Obnixilis. This sounds kind of like gas. Obnix is really hard. The new Obnix is really hard to evaluate. I can't decide if it looks like it busted or unplayable. You just gotta peer deep into their soul when you make this attack, chat.
Guards, to me. We've got the edge in this fight.
Let's make sure we leave our black source up here. I'll hold 1 land in hand in case we draw another blood token, but no real reason to hold 2 here. Chapter 3 on Ranger class has potential to be very scary. Oh, yikes, they hit 2 creatures in a row? Oh no, chat, we're being battlefield raptored.
Remember your training.
Vanishing Verse is a good top deck here. Close game still. We're still a little bit ahead. I don't know that saving the Meathook was correct. They would have had a... What's it called? That would have been attacking us. The Luminarch Aspirant would have been huge very quickly. One Tybalt, please.
Until next time, then.
Rats. Believe we have died, Chip. They're learning. Oh, this build is sweet. The modified cards seem like they're really close. I think they're a little bit on the weak side overall, but they're like one good new card from Capenna, or like a buff in Alchemy. Feels like you could drag them across the finish line. Yeah, this card especially. I think if they made this card 2 mana for Alchemy, it would be super playable. Like 2 mana learn, and then it makes your things bigger and untaps them. Good game as opponent. I'm gonna call it a wrap on this one. I was kind of whelmed by this deck. Let's pull it up here and wrap up and talk about why before we finish with Magic for the day. So, to start, the deck definitely feels a little bit unfocused in what it wants to be doing. We've got a lot of like miscellaneous 1 and 2 ofs. Fable the Mirror Breaker also felt a little bit awkward, like I talked about, where we didn't have the big payoff at the end for this card like you do in a lot of other decks, like making a goblin that makes treasures and then getting to like sculpt our hand a little bit with the first 2 chapters was like reasonable as always, but the flip on the chapter 3, we just didn't have anything meaningful to copy in a lot of the situations that we were in, which make the power level of the card feel significantly lower. Showdown of the Skalds felt good the few times we had it. We had played, I'd have to look back on our YouTube channel, but we had played a Mardu mid-range deck that was all in on Showdown of the Skalds, and I think I liked that build better than what this one was doing. Had four Showdown at the top end, it felt pretty good. I am not familiar with a 4-color vehicle deck in Standard. Feel free to link me it in the subs Discord, and I'll take a peek at it. Studi Doobie, thanks for the 23. Appreciate the almost 2 years. Welcome back.